Welcome back to the LexxExpress show. Subscribe, like, and comment. Don't miss out on another stream or video. What is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel, baby. Your boy Lex is feeling good. I'm ready to roll, man. I'm here to talk to you about Wrestlemania 38, day 1 and day 2. Finally put my thoughts out on there, on the channel, because I was under the weather, and day 2, I was just so drained afterwards. I didn't record it on time. I know we talked about it and things like that, but I'm here to finally just break it down match by match, day by day, and the overall feel for the week. And now, if you guys have been tuning in, you know how I felt. You know I loved it. I enjoyed it. That's no spoiler. But let's give our 2 cents on each match, and hit me up in the comments section. All right, if you don't agree, that's fine, but hit me up in the comments section. I want to discuss WrestleMania some more with you guys, so hit me up. I want to see what you guys got to say. All right, day 1, we're gonna do it in order. The Usos versus Shinsuke Nakamura and Rick Boogs. Yeah, the Usos won that match, and it's so unfortunate that Rick Boogs got hurt. Now, I do think that the Usos were always set to win that match, and I'm fine with that as long as they performed and put on a good outing. You know, I didn't want just some filler tag team match that should have been on the pre-show. I wanted them to step it up, and I felt like they were leading towards that. They were building up the match, and Rick Boogs blew his knee. Unfortunately, required surgery. Wishing a speedy recovery to Rick Boogs, man. I feel like him and Shinsuke were finally going to start having these tag matches and build up their characters, and, you know, hopefully eventually break them up and have both of them feud in something meaningful. Because, you know, Shinsuke, as talented as he is and as much as I love him, and you guys that tune in know that, you know, Shinsuke hasn't really done anything significant in the last year or so. Even though he was champion, he didn't really defend it much, and they didn't put him in big stories. So having him and Rick Boogs go on a little tag team run, kind of like RK Bro, and then have them split up eventually into some feud would have been nice to see starting at this WrestleMania show. But again, we got what we got. The injury, nobody could plan that, and it's just, it is what it is. So unfortunately, that was, you know, a little Debbie Downer to start off the night. But Drew McIntyre versus Happy Corbin, I will say this. That one, even though it was set to be boring and nobody cared about that feud, nobody wanted that feud, man, Happy Corbin, you know, Baron Corbin is a good worker, man. He's a workhorse. He went out there and they put on a good show. It wasn't a WrestleMania match. It wasn't the grandest stage of them all type of match, but it was a nice, solid match. It surprised me. I mean, my expectations were really low, but Drew really, you know, went out there and performed along with Happy. And my wife ended up enjoying it. You know, my wife is like super casual and laid back when it comes to watching wrestling, and she voices her opinion when she doesn't like something, and she actually enjoyed that match. She said she enjoyed it way more than she thought. And I felt the same way. I agree with her 100%. Drew McIntyre did defeat Happy Corbin, which that was always known, you know. But what really surprised me was at the end with Madcap Moss, the way that he broke the ring with the sword and they involved the sword. I thought it was pretty cool. Finally have Drew break something with it in the ring, right? Because he's always coming out, you know, waving it around like a little wand, but he never does anything with it. So I thought at least breaking the rope was pretty cool, even though a waste of money for WWE, but it was just cool to see. And it felt like that was a nice start to the show, because the Usos, obviously the injury ruined that match. Drew and Happy picked up the slack there. And then that led us into the Miz and Logan Paul match, which they defeated the Mysterios. And it was cool that the Miz turned on Logan Paul. But guys, how about all these celebrities that we've been getting lately, man? Outdoing themselves. We're talking about Bad Bunny, Johnny Knoxville, freaking Logan Paul. All of them going to work, learning the craft, and going out there and giving us a real match. It's not just showing up for a little punch or a little Irish whip. We got some real freaking fans here that are hitting the gym and learning the craft and going out there and performing at the highest level with some of the best talents. I mean, you're talking about Rey Mysterio, a legend, and The Miz, who has become a legend in his own right. Whether you hate him or love him or don't care about him, the dude is a freaking beast, man. He really, really is. I feel like we need to start giving him his flowers, because he's been around for so long and he stood the test of time with the hardest workers, and everyone praises him behind the scenes. But the fans, there's still a lot of bitter people out there that don't give a shit about him. And there's people that work in the industry that don't care about him either, but it is what it is. I like The Miz, and I thought that him turning on Logan at the end was a nice surprise, a little nice add-on there. And Logan, imitating Eddie Guerrero and making fun of the, Mexican culture and the wrestling style with the three amigos and the frog splash and the taunts. I thought that they set it up nicely, and it had some good story to it, and it felt like a clean match despite, its little botches here and there. Nothing crazy that was like an eyesore, but yeah, I thought it was a pretty clean match, all things considered. And then that led us into the Bianca Bel Air versus Becky Lynch, which I thought that match was a lot better than Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks, if I'm honest with you guys. Now, I thought this match was going to be a bit of a piss break. I'm not going to lie. The build-up for the match, I wasn't interested in it. And even though I know these females are amazing and they can go, I just felt like this match wasn't going to deliver. And it did. It did. It truly did. So up until this point, I was really satisfied with the show, and I was really nervous as well, because then we had Seth Rollins come out, and Vince said he was going to come out and announce his next opponent, but he didn't come out, and Seth was there in the ring. We were all freaking, anticipating and anxious, and I was just like, they're going to let us down, they're going to tease us, they're going to make, poke fun at us for thinking it would be Cody. And when the lights went out, man, and I heard, there is more than one royal family. Bro, I blew a gasket. My eyes got watery. The reactions on the channel, you could see it. I don't even got to break it down. But yeah, it's a little embarrassing, a little cringy, and a little wild, all things considered, because we had heard about Cody going to WWE for quite some time, and I was still able to psych myself out. I thought that WWE would do something else, and they just did not care. They said, hey, we're going to send Cody out there at WrestleMania. We're going to make a statement, and they sure as hell did. They gave him the epic entrance with the fireworks and his same theme song that he's been carrying around through Ring of Honor, the Indies, and AEW, TNA as well. So I thought it was awesome to see Cody make his triumphant return, and that match was definitely the match of the weekend. I don't even got to talk about day 2 to let you guys know that, to me, Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins not only stole the show, but it was the best match of the weekend. I mean, you're talking about giving the wrestling purist fans what they want, and they went bell to bell from start to finish, high-octane action. It wasn't just a slow build-up with the sizzle, stare-downs. They actually went at it, and Seth Rollins, I felt, was always going to perform no matter who he faced. But the fact that it was Cody Rhodes and they gave us that type of match was just phenomenal, honestly. I really thoroughly enjoyed that one. Obviously, at that point, the pay-per-view felt like it needed a bang, and it got it with that match right there. And then we had Charlotte versus Ronda, which I was really surprised Charlotte actually beat Ronda. And you know what? That match was also really good, and it gave us a little twist at the end. I did not expect Charlotte to win. I thought Ronda would win that one. And you know what? I was satisfied with it. That's the only way I can describe it. I felt super satisfied with the finish. I like how Ronda went for the pin, and the referee overcounted, and the referee was explaining to her. She was super pissed, wasted time, and it gave Charlotte some time to get back in it and ultimately seal the deal. But up until this point, I felt like, wow, what a show. Cody returned. We've had some solid matches. Now for the main event, we get the KO show, which I called it weeks in advance, or couple days in advance. I said, guys, WrestleMania has never ended with a talk show. This is definitely history for Kevin Owens to go out there and do a talk show with Stone Cold, but to have this match advertised as a brawl and just have it a talk show, that seems very, very underwhelming. Even though there's still day 2, I got a feeling that Stone Cold may have a match. But even then, even me saying that, I just did not expect Stone Cold to fight because of everything that he said in interviews and, through the years, and how old he's gotten. Obviously, he's not getting any younger. I didn't anticipate seeing Steve Austin in a match. And, we see Kevin Owens come out, do the big bad wolf talking shit. Stone Cold's glass breaks, and just talking about it now, I get goosebumps. It was just so freaking beautiful to see, guys. I was just filled with joy to see Stone Cold walk down the ramp again. I got all the vibes going right now, and it's been a week. I just absolutely loved every second of that, segment. And Stone Cold coming out, questioning Kevin Owens, telling him, "You called me out here just to talk." And Kevin Owens said, "No, Steve, I fooled you. I tricked you. I told you I wanted to do the KO show with you as my guest, but no. I want to fight. I know you're old and this and that, and you've got bad knees." And I just love how the crowd was super into it. We were super into it at home. Obviously, we had like 80 people in the building while we were live streaming our reaction. So we were all going crazy. And they set up that match so beautifully. They spoon-fed me throughout that whole segment. And then leading into the match, I was tearing up. I was lost for words. I was shocked. I was just feeling so many emotions that ultimately, man, even a week removed, talking to you guys about it right now, it just took, breaking down the segment took me back to the moment. And that is what wrestling is all about. We all know it's scripted. We all know this, this psychology that goes into, putting on, like a 5-star type match and all this. But when we get a good, showcase storyline that is ultimately like leading into like this big brawl or big fight like Steve Austin and Kevin Owens, it just gives you all the feels and all the joy of why you tune into these shows. And like I said, they end up fighting outside the ring. They end up fighting in the crowd. Stone Cold ends up taking a crazy spot where Kevin Owens like flipped him on his back, and I was just like, damn, this dude is really, really putting in an effort. And it was such a nice moment to see Stone Cold have his final match in Dallas, and the way it just went, it was like a perfect symphony, and it was just well put together. Like, everyone involved should be proud, including Stone Cold. As old as he is, he gave us one last ass whooping, and it felt genuine and authentic and real. Kevin Owens did carry, but it didn't feel like he was freaking carrying the book bag by himself. It felt like he had a little assistance, And Stone Cold definitely put in the work, man. You could tell he trained for this. You could tell he was ready to go. And I love that even though he didn't come out with the trunks or the vest, he came out with the jean shorts. I just didn't want to see Stone Cold with jeans and a big ass shirt. I love that he came with the tight fit shirt with the tight jean shorts and the little boots and the knee braces. It just, all the vibes, man. It's the reason why we watch WrestleMania. And this was just day one at this point. I was just blown away. So my favorite moments, obviously, Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins, and then Stone Cold and Kevin Owens. Those two matches right there was everything I ever wanted and could have imagined. And then we also got the Charlotte and Ronda, which I enjoyed, and we got the Miz and Logan Paul, which I enjoyed way too much. So ultimately, I thought day one, 2 thumbs up, successful in my opinion. So and we also got to celebrate the Hall of Famers too throughout the show. They showed a little bit for them too, which that is always dope. And then for day 2, I was so overwhelmed with day 1. I was like, there's no way they're gonna top day 1. Like, they have to go all out, like, not just go all out to match it, but to even come close, they have to go all out. Like, this really needs to hit home, because day 1 was pure fan service and loaded with nice epic moments, so I was just like, how are they gonna do day 2? Let me start off by saying they began the show with Triple H himself coming out and officially retiring, man. Emotional. And so, like, the amount of respect and gratitude that everyone showed, and Triple H himself coming out there to put the boots in the middle of the ring, you know, to officially call it quits. That was just so beautiful to see, man. And to see him walk out there with his own will and put his boots there, and it's a sign of respect to his peers and everyone that he's ever wrestled with, and the fans that he's wrestled for. I just thought that was freaking amazing. And then leading into into the next match, we get the tag team match, another tag team match to start off WrestleMania. We get RK Bro versus the Street Profits versus Alpha Academy. Let me just tell you guys right now, man, RK Bro has been on a tear. Alpha Academy has been on a tear. And because of injuries and lack of stories, Street Profits have been in and out. But them boys are just too talented. You combine these three teams and you're going to make magic if you give them the time to do so. And they did. They did. Between the emotions of Triple H kicking off the night and the freaking high-octane action that we got in that Raw tag match. Oh, my goodness, man. I just love the Chad Gable-Otis combination. I'd never cared for Otis, and Chad Gable has made me care for that tag team. From the shush to the 4.0 and the thank you. Like, everything that he does, I love his gimmick, man. It's just, I love it. And then the RK Bro, their mannerisms, and Randy, the way that he's so fully invested, you could tell he's really enjoying himself. And Riddle is so freaking athletic and talented. And Street Profits, man, say no more. They got the perfect combination of, you know, the big dude, and then you got Montez Ford killing it with the high flying. It was just awesome all around. I thought it was dope, and it reminded me a lot of the tag matches that we've been seeing lately in AEW with the Young Bucks. And them boys over there. Got to give a shout out to AEW because they sure as hell know how to put on some crazy tag matches, and I feel like this lived up to that, you know, that type of style, if you will. So, you know, RK Bro retained, and I'm not mad. I'm not mad. I thought that it was dope, amazing, loved it, perfect start. And then after that, we had Bobby Lashley versus Omas, which for me, it was just a guilty pleasure because I was happy to see Bobby Lashley back. I just wanted Bobby Lashley at Mania. I was so pissed off that he was done dirty at Elimination Chamber. I hate that he got injured right before Mania. He wasn't able to get into any storylines. So he doesn't come out with MVP. That was already a little fishy. We all know what happened the following night on Raw, but, you know, the build-up for the Omas match was pretty cool because Omas kept coming out week after week and, you know, basically saying nobody could touch him and nobody could measure him. And then Bobby Lashley interrupts him on Raw, sets up the match. So going into this match, yeah, it was very lackluster. The build-up, you know, ultimately sucked because Bobby wasn't involved with MVP in it. But all things considered, they put on a freaking WrestleMania type of giant versus, you know, the average wrestler type, right? The average WWE star. Well, not really, because Bobby Lashley's a freak, but, you know, I'm talking about size-wise. The average-sized WWE athlete versus the giant of all giants. And I love those types of matches, man. That's paying homage to the Andre the Giant and Hulk Hogan and to the old school wrestling matches. You know, it wasn't super fast paced or anything like that because it's Bobby Lashley and Omas. But man, all things considered, I'm telling you guys, I felt like they delivered. It was a good story, and the crowd was also behind it. And Bobby Lashley, I feel, is like, you know, enjoying his main event flowers, his main event run, and WWE delivered on making him look like a star. And Omos didn't look bad at all either. He still looked vicious, and he looked like a big-ass giant out there trying to dominate and coming up short. Loved it. Thought it was what WrestleMania was all about. And then we got the Sami Zayn versus Johnny Knoxville freaking match. Now, Johnny Knoxville has a lot of fans, maybe not in WWE, and, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, why is Sami Zayn in this joke of a match or whatever? Guys, you know, I understand that we need those Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins type of matches and the Daniel Bryan versus Kenny Omega type of matches, things like that. But we also need the fun risk-taking, you know, just self-aware type of matches. And Sami Zayn and Johnny Knoxville have been acing the promos and the build-up to this match. So I was very intrigued as to what stunts the Jackass crew was going to do, what they had in store for us. And they brought out all the pranks and all the little stunts that we could have, dreamed for. And then we also had Wee Man, and we had this other dude, I forget his name all the time, the one that rips off his clothes. You know who I'm talking about. They had them join the match, including the producers. They had rat traps, tables with rat traps stuck on top. They had the big slapping hand. Every spot that match had was just laugh out loud. I was in tears. My wife was in tears. Like, we were just having a good old time. And that's what that match was all about. Just a good old fun time. And it delivered on that end, as well as, the surprisingly awesome Bobby Lashley versus Omas. WrestleMania style hype. Not hype, but what's the word I'm looking for? Classic style match. That's what I was looking for. So WrestleMania is always known for these fun types of matches with celebrities, and I felt like this surpassed those types of matches, because they had, it was like a hardcore type of match. They had a lot of props that elevated the match. So it was awesome. It was awesome. And then we had the women's tag match, which for the most part I tuned in and out. I got my snacks. I took a piss, and I always joke around that these are piss break matches, but I do feel that, like, in the last quarter of the match, when they picked up the pace and they were getting ready to start the finale, I felt like the match was fun and exciting, and they did good, especially considering that I thought that this was just an epic fail, and this was just going to be shoehorned in there and just suck. But it didn't suck, and I got to be honest, I'm happy for Sasha Banks and Naomi to have won the belts. Thought it was super cool to see that. And by the way, I didn't even mention Johnny Knoxville did win versus Sami Zayn, which, come on, he had to win. And Sami Zayn, he doesn't care about the win-losses. He just wants to entertain, and he wants to put on a good show, and I feel like he should be super happy with what he did, because that shit was awesome. So, yeah, women's tag match, dope. Enjoyed it for what it was. It is what it is. I never really cared too much about those. And then we had Edge versus AJ Styles. Now, I saw people in the chat were saying, oh, this is boring. This got stretched out. This was not only, the wrestling purist type of matches, but they were telling a story. There was a transition here. There was a build-up to something more, something that, they were teasing, and we just didn't know if it was going to happen at Mania, Raw, or whenever. And we end up getting this awesome, slow, it was like a methodical, build up, and we see AJ the hero pretty much getting ready to overcome Edge, but we have a special, crazy, unexpected appearance by Damian Priest. Now you guys are like, oh, wasn't that special or wasn't that crazy? We knew Damian Priest was going to join Edge. All right, yes, I had read the rumors too, but we didn't know it was going to happen at Mania, bro. We didn't know Damian Priest was going to be part of Mania. And for me, I've been wanting to love Damian Priest because I liked him with Bad Bunny, and I liked the whole gimmick that they had going there. But after Bad Bunny left, and even when they gave him the U.S. title, I felt like he just wasn't that important, and they didn't involve him in cool stories. I know he fought Sheamus, and that was solid, but that's about it. He didn't really have much going for him, so adding him with Edge, I thought that was such a great idea. When I read that, I'm like, man, I hope this is true. I hope this is one of those rumors that comes to life. And when I saw it at WrestleMania, I was like, oh, shit. Like, it costed AJ the match. I thought that was well done, too. Well done. Was the match a little stretched out? Yes, it was a little stretched out, but you can't give Edge and AJ Styles a 5-minute match. So, was it better than Cody Rhodes versus Rollins? No. Could it have been better? Yes, but for the type of match that they were trying to tell and the transition that Edge's character is going through, I thought it was awesome. Job well done there. They gave them time, and Edge had the opportunity to transition to the next step in his character, and that's what it was all about. It was a story match, and this AJ versus Edge rivalry is not done, and I can't wait to see more. And then next up, we had New Day, which was cut from day one. It was New Day versus Sheamus, Ridge, and Butch. And even though they injured Big E, that story was supposed to be a 3v3, and it just kind of fell off and fell flat. And Xavier came back, but it still wasn't enough. And the match was super short. And I thought it was cool that they showed Butch in like this way where he's like, they can't control him, and he's like kind of like a little dog with rabies going around barking up a storm and trying to fight everybody. I like the gimmick, they're basically doing kind of like a Fight Club type of feel. It's fight night. I like that stable they got going on. I think it's good. It works well for Ridge and Butch to be under the tutelage of Sheamus, who is an awesome brawler. But this match just didn't do anything for me. This could have been on the pre-show. It could have been on SmackDown. And I feel bad because everyone in this match is super talented. We know Pete Dunne is super talented. We know Ridge is good. We know Sheamus is freaking awesome. We know New Day is awesome. So it's just they didn't give them enough time, and they were just shoehorned there because they were cut from day one, and everybody was super heartbroken about that. So at least they had their WrestleMania moment. At the very least, we got a little tease, because they're still doing that story. And then another surprising match. Oh my God. We know that Pat McAfee worked with Adam Cole in NXT, but I just didn't know that Pat McAfee was this agile in the ring, because he looks kind of stiff. I know that he was an athlete in the NFL. He was a kicker, and you can't be super stiff to be a kicker and all that, but I just didn't know that this guy was going to go out there and try to freaking give us like a 5-star type of match. Like, this was freaking hilarious. He had like so many surprising spots off the freaking turnbuckle, flips and bumps and all things that he did. All the things that he did, I was just like, from his entrance, dun 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 dun, loved it. And Austin Theory getting booed out the arena. It was just perfectly executed with Vince McMahon there on the sideline. And the match was surprisingly dope. And Pat McAfee ends up beating Austin Theory, which I thought that was expected. But the fact that Vince was so annoyed and pissed off, started trash talking Pat. Pat tells him to come in the ring, and it became Pat McAfee versus Vince McMahon. Goosebumps, emotions were going. I was just like, how the hell, man? We got Kevin Owens and Stone Cold day one, and day two we get Pat McAfee versus Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon is going to have a match in 2022. Like, even though it was like a storyline and it wasn't like a real full-blown match, I just thought it was amazing. Amazing. And then to see Stone Cold come out again. Oh my God, guys! I could see Stone Cold sitting down watching paint dry. I could see Stone Cold sitting down drinking beer. I could see Stone Cold walking across the parking lot to his car. I will find that shit entertaining. I love Stone Cold Steve Austin, man. The little kid in me was just like, oh my God, I wish I was there, because that shit was, bro. Loved it, man. And what a memorable final freaking stunner to Vince McMahon. That shit was terrible. He freaking gutted Vince with the soft kick. Vince was collapsing, fell off the rope, and Vince could have legit gotten hurt and killed. Thank God he didn't. And Austin Theory took a stunner. And Pat McAfee took a stunner day one. Byron Saxton took a stunner as well. I love that Stone Cold was able to go out there, drink so much beer during his match, during the promo, just pouring it and having a good old time. It was just so much fun to see, and I was just so happy, man. The kid in me was just going crazy. And then that led into the biggest match of all time, which I just, Look, I know you guys. By the way, I had to change the graphic and the day two review. I was so carried away, and I'm so into this review, and I'm vibing out with you guys right here, right now. It's just me and you here, just talking up wrestling, and I'm just having such a blast that I forgot to do my my editing and my content creator stuff, and I forgot to put day two review and the artwork. But it is what it is. It's too late now, all right. But this match disappointed a lot of people. Rumor has it Roman got hurt during the match, and that's why it was cut the way it was. But even then, let's talk about it like if there was no injuries, which I believe there probably wasn't. I feel like this match was just like any other Brock Lesnar match, and there was some effort put into this. There was an actual story developing here. Roman Reigns didn't just whoop on Brock Lesnar. Roman Reigns didn't just go out there, speared him, and finished him, and that's it. Like, Roman Reigns needed to go above and beyond to beat him. It wasn't just about Roman being at his best. It took Roman cheating with Paul Heyman with the belt. It took Roman spearing him through the, the barricade outside. It took Paul Heyman helping Roman to kick out of the submission. There was a lot of things that went on here story-wise for Roman just to have a chance against the beast incarnate himself, Brock Lesnar was written in this match to look phenomenal, and he did show up and show out, but with all the Superman punches, with all the spears, with all the cheating, there was just no way Brock Lesnar was going to beat Roman here. And because of the way they did it, right, and because how bad some of Brock Lesnar's matches have been in the past, I thought this was freaking dope. Yes, I am a Roman Reigns guy. Smash him, stack him, and pin him. Yes, I am a Roman Reigns guy, all right? I do like The Rock. Look at my this is my bloodline, you know what I mean? This is my tribal chief. But even if Roman would have lost and they would have told the story that they decided to tell here and Brock would have won, I would have been pissed that they end up squashing Roman's reign, but I would have accepted it because the story within was still good, and the entire night and weekend up until that point was just crazy. So in my opinion, they needed to call this the biggest match of all time. Why? Because it was title versus title, two titans going at it, and it was following up Stone Cold Steve Austin. Okay, it was following up Cody Rhodes returning and having a 5-star match, in my opinion, versus Seth Rollins. It was following up AJ Styles versus Edge, and having Damian Priest joining his cause. Like, it followed up a lot of epic moments. So they needed to write this like big time. And for it being two titans that have very similar fighting styles, I enjoyed it, guys. I did. So was this WrestleMania perfect? No, I never said that it was perfect. I said some of the spots and matches were written perfectly, or at least executed perfectly, but not once did I say that all these matches were 10 out of 10s or the whole WrestleMania weekend was a 10 out of 10 and that it was the best. The only match I said loud and clear was a 5-star match, and the best match of the weekend was Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins. So if you guys made it this far into this review, then understand that I did not say that each match was 5 out of 5 or 10 out of 10. Okay? All I've said through and through is that it was fun, and even though some of them were lackluster or whatever, some surprised me. I enjoyed this, I enjoyed that. Overall, I walk away enjoying WrestleMania weekend like I have. I haven't enjoyed. I was like I have not, but I haven't enjoyed WrestleMania like this to this extent for a while. Why? Because when they first started they first started doing the 2-day thing, there was one thing that stood out more than the other, and you highlight one or two matches and that's about it. Or when you watch WrestleMania on Sunday. Just one night you would say, oh, these two matches were good, the rest was whatever, or this wasn't that good. This was just overwhelming. WrestleMania day 1 and day 2 combined was just an overwhelming ball of emotions, and I'm not surprised I got sick right after. Honestly, I told my wife, man, between barely sleeping, doing YouTube, watching the shows, and going crazy all weekend, who wouldn't get sick? Who wouldn't lower their immune system from having tears, man tears, and going crazy all weekend for Stone Cold Steve Austin himself and the Tribal Chief, my boy, retaining? Like, I was just blown away and overjoyed. That's why I'm sitting here doing this freaking review, because I loved it that much. So even though there was matches and spots that I would have done differently, I will walk away saying this is without a doubt the best Mania in at least the last decade or so. Can we get down to the nitty gritty and pick other WrestleManias that were better and had less matches but were more enjoyable? Sure. I'm not saying that any of these matches were the greatest matches of all time. I'm just saying as a whole, the show hit beat by beat accordingly, and I just played into their hand, bro. Call me a WWE fanboy, call me a freaking nerd, or a WWE stan. I even gave a little shout out to AEW here, because I do enjoy AEW, and AEW is good at what they do, which is try to put on 5-star matches left and right for wrestling, for pure wrestling fans. But WrestleMania is not just wrestling, it's sports entertainment at the end of the day. Hate it or love it, man. It's the grandest stage of them all. And I feel like Vince this year gave us something to remember forever. And I hope you guys enjoyed my discussion here, my review of each match and the show overall. I sure did. I thought that it's going to be really hard to top this next year, and they're going to Hollywood, baby. So, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, you better lace up them boots, man, because we miss you, big guy, and we want to see you versus the Tribal Chief. So, guys, with that being said, man, I'm out of here. Comment again. For the last time, comment on the video. Let me know how you guys felt about WrestleMania, and if you agreed with me or disagreed with me. It is what it is. I'll see you on the next one. Thank you for tuning in. Peace. Let's go.